Hello, I'm Daniel Lyngholm. I'm a neuroscientist at Sensei. We've been working very closely with the team at Cyborg to develop this Centero, and we're now extremely excited about the potential this product offers to allow people to enhance their spatial perception. From a neuroscience perspective, as we see it, the key to the Centero is this sense of north, as was also embodied in Cyborg's first product, the north sense. To understand why sensing north is important, we first need to understand how we perceive space and how we orient ourselves and how we navigate through spaces. So the brain builds up, wherever we are, builds up a grid-like neural representation of the space we're in based on our sensory impressions, so what we see, feel, and hear. This is then stored in a part of the brain called the hippocampus in a grid-like representation. So this kind of representation actually even works very well to train even artificial intelligence agents to navigate through virtual mazes as well. This all very well if you're in one space or out in nature or out in the wild, in wide open spaces. However, what happens if you're in a building and you go from one room to the next room and you enter a new space? The brain then has to redo this grid to be able to orient yourself in the new space. So this works really well if there is a straightforward link, clear frame of reference between the two spaces. So that means the brain can then align the grid of the new space with the previous space, and you know how they are oriented, and there's no confusion, and you can easily navigate through them. So this works because the grid cells in the hippocampus are linked with other neural networks that encode episodic memory and spatial memory that are both in the hippocampus, entorhinal cortex, and the retrospinal cortices. So it's a full network of different brain regions. But it's worth thinking that there has to be a clear connection between the spaces. So what happens if you're in a building, for example, where the relationship between spaces is not obvious? Or if you're on transport where these spaces actually move relative to each other. And the best example of this is that you're in a city and you go on the subway. You enter the subway one way, and the subway, when you get to the station, you go out of the station and you have no clue where you are or which direction you're facing, and you then have to spend time orienting yourself, and you're confused. So this confusion is because the brain has lost its frame of reference and has to rebuild this grid from scratch, and this takes time and it makes you confused. So this is a key area where having a Centero will help you, because it gives you a consistent frame of reference. You can always align, you always know how you're oriented based relative to the world around you. And this basically extends your egocentric perception to how you orient yourself in the room, to being able to place yourself on a map and orient that relative to everything else. An intriguing observation from North Sense users was that people started doing this not just with their immediate space and local environment, but also more global environment. So people started aligning and virtually or mentally aligning their desk in the office with their bedroom at home, or on holiday aligning their bedroom, the bed in a hotel room, with your bedroom at home. Or it also allows you to sort of remember spaces remember a hotel room, for example, that you remember this hotel room because you faced north when you entered the door. So this also highlights the link and the potential link between spatial perception and memory, that the Centero might also help people enhance their memory. So neuroscience research has shown that it's the same regions of the brain, the same neural activation patterns that happen when you navigate through spaces and when you store and retrieve memories, even conceptual and abstract memories. This is still the hippocampal entorhinal system. So this is also exemplified by memory techniques such as the memory castle, where you also navigate through virtual spaces, and that allows you to store things away in certain locations, and you can then recall your orientation in that space, and you can use that to navigate you. So this might actually help your conceptual memory significantly. Okay, thank you for listening.